thought process right now because it just made me realize I was listening to this Future song and he said I done been through more things this month than people done been through in a lifetime. And I was just thinking about in comparison to my life, I was like, yeah, I haven't been through anything. And then my mind was starting to argue back with me as though it was somebody else at this point. And was like, you have been through stuff. Remember you was homeless. Remember this happened, that happened. And then I was just thinking, I was like, yeah, I didn't really think of that as a hardship or as a difficulty. Because for me, difficulty and hardship is a measurement of your effort, the amount of effort that you have to put in order to get and bear results. In a situation where I was homeless, in a situation where I had to depend on people, I didn't really count that as a hardship because there's no effort that you need to put into being a fucking bum or having to be overly dependent on other people. In fact, it's because of your lack of effort that you have, that a lot of times you're in the situation, not every time, but a lot of times that you're in the situation where you have to depend on other people or that you just don't have enough. Do you know what people call people who don't have their own things or who have to depend on other people all the time? They call them bums. Do you know why they call them bums? Because they're not putting any effort into their motherfucking lives and into the condition of self-maintenance. That's why they're being called bums for the majority of people. The foundation of that word, at least. That's what the fuck that's supposed to be for. But of course, people are so creative, they don't fucking change it. They're going to change the meaning of that. But yeah, I think there's a disproportionate. I think that a lot of times I don't fully recognize the hardship of my situations simply because when I find myself in those situations, it's almost as though the power has been shut off. And in that case, what the fuck can I do? So it's not hard at all being fucking powerless. It's not hard at all to have no fucking resources and not have anything to motherfucking help lift you up out of whatever the fuck you're in. That's not difficult. That's easy. What's difficult is finding a fucking resource that you can use in order to get yourself out of a fucking pit, finding out how to use it, utilizing it as you should use it, and then putting in the maximum and continued effort that you need to put in order to get yourself out of that fucking space. But if you don't have anything in that space, nothing's difficult about just staying there. It's not difficult having nothing and already being down. There's nothing difficult about it, and there's nothing strong about just sitting there. So I don't motherfucking, a lot of times, identify with the fucking conversation that's being had around the situations that I sometimes find myself in or hear about. There's nothing strong about sitting in helplessness. There's nothing strong about that at all. There's nothing strong about having no fucking resources or having so little resources that you can't fix or change your situation. That's not strong. It's not motherfucking difficult. It's none of those things. That's very fucking easy. To be nothing and do nothing. It's very fucking easy. It's super easy to get a 0 and start at 100%. Super easy to get a 0. All you have to do is either not show up or don't do anything. So what the fuck are y'all talking about? Well, self that was arguing with me just now. What the fuck is you talking about? Because if you know me at all, you know that motherfucking difficulty is being able to do something and figuring out how to motherfucking do it. And then putting in the motherfucking effort to do it. If you don't have the motherfucking energy to put in the effort, bitch, you don't got it. You don't got it. You shouldn't even be there. Therefore, it's not difficult. It couldn't be difficult because you can't do it. How can something that you can't do be difficult? Something you can't even put your effort into. You can't even, bitch, it's like saying somebody, all right, this must be a lame ass example because, there are ways for this to happen, which is what the fuck I'm saying. Right? But if you don't have any access to the resources that give you this way, all right, so let me give you an example. It's like somebody that don't have no legs trying to run a fucking marathon. And they have to run. You can't will yourself around. It has to be with your legs. You have to run a marathon. But you don't got no motherfucking legs. How you going to do that? Unless you have resources. It's not difficult. You can't call that difficult. You can't do it. Period. You're not entering in that. You're not even in the fucking race. You can't even enter in the race if you don't got no fucking legs. And you don't got no wheelchair. You don't got nothing. You're going to run with your hands. Bitch, this is not that type of race. So sit the fuck down. You can't even sign up for it. It's not that race wasn't difficult for that man that didn't have no fucking legs. That race was non-existent. Therefore, you can't complain at the end of the race when everybody is getting their, all the other races is getting their water and drinking their Gatorade and all that shit. You can't complain that you tired. For what? How? From when? From doing what? You can't say, and you could claim that you're tired, but you can't claim that you're tired from the race, from doing anything in the race. Because you were not there. You can't claim that it was a hard race. You're not in it. You can't be in it because you don't got no fucking legs, nor do you have any motherfucking resources to get any legs. You can't get any animatronic legs. So what the fuck is you talking about? Difficult what? What was difficult about that? Bitch, you was a passenger. You was sitting there. You was a motherfucking fan in the stadium. If you stayed. It ain't difficult being a motherfucking fan. As long as you're not a fucking hater. I mean, like, it's not difficult admiring something. It is difficult to motherfucking have something that's worthy of being admired. That's what the fuck I'm talking about to myself and saying to myself, I'm just like, what the fuck was difficult about not having no motherfucking resources, bitch? Difficulty is in finding the resources, but if you didn't never try to find the resources, then nothing was difficult. If you can't find the resource, there's nothing difficult. If you can't even have the motherfucking, if you're so stupid or you don't have the motherfucking wherewithal to even have the fucking thought to start to motherfucking search for resources for you, you can't play the motherfucking game. Therefore, you cannot claim that it was difficult. Period. Just shut the fuck up.